This is NAHREP TV. Hello, everybody. Bienvenidos. My name is Gerardo Jerry Asensio, reporting today for NAHREP TV. And it is indeed my honor that we are broadcasting today from Washington, D.C. And here next to me, we have our brand newly installed national chair for the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals for the year 2011-2012. Ms. Carmen Mercado. Bienvenida, Carmen.
Gracias, Jerry. Mucho gusto.
Thank you, gracias. So I want, the idea here is for you to get to know our new chair and to find out a little bit about who is Carmen Mercado and what brought her to this place. So it's going to be indeed a pleasure to share these few moments with you. Muchísimas gracias. But first of all, Carmen, how does it feel? It's a big accomplishment. You are now at the helm of the foremost and largest minority trade organization in the nation, and you are the chair, so talk to me about that.
Well, Jerry, I've shared this with you before, but I'm ecstatic about the opportunity. NAHREP has been part of my life since 2004, so for me, this was just a progression to be able to have this opportunity to learn about the organization, learn how I can serve the organization, and it was just a perfect fit for me. So today, as I now take on this new role, I see it as a continuation of what started or began in 2004. So I'm humbled and honored because we have had previous leaders of this organization that really, including our very recently Alex Chaparro, who really left big shoes to be filled. But I'm confident that with the support, not only of the staff, but our leadership that we have, that a lot of great things are going to happen for our organization, our members, our community in 2011 to 2012. So I'm humbled and honored, ecstatic, excited. It's just, I can't put it into words.
I appreciate that. And we want to know about the organization, but more than anything else, we want to know about Carmen Mercado. I know you have a great story. I know you have a very rich background. We'd like to hear about that. Who is Carmen Mercado? Tell us, take us there.
Oh, let me take you back on a journey then. I'm originally from New York. I was born and raised in New York City, 139th Street, actually, right across the street from City College. My backyard was actually City College. That's really what my backyard was. And my parents, when I was 11 years old, decided to move to Puerto Rico. And that was a culture shock for me. Believe it or not, I didn't know Spanish as well as I should have known prior to moving. But needless to say, I actually am very grateful for that move because it gave me the opportunity to really connect with my cultural connections in Puerto Rico and learn the language. So fast forward a few years later, I came back as an adult back to New York, and a lot of people don't know this, Jerry, so I may shock you, but I'm going to share this with you. I was a single mother at a very, very young age.
Okay.
Age 16, actually.
At 16?
16 years old.
Wow.
And that created, of course, needless to say, a challenge in my life. As a young Latina single mother, I had some challenges that I needed to make some quick decisions on because it was just a variation of degree as to which path I was going to take and what the results would be. So at a very young age, I had to make some decisions, and I had started college, but then I decided this is not what I could do right now. I have to put this on hold. My priority became very clear that it was now to give my daughter an opportunity to have just a better future, better opportunities for her. And I didn't want her looking back and saying, you know, my mother was just another statistic, a young Latina mother. I didn't want that for her. And it was really clear for me that it was up to me to make that difference in her life. But what I did not know is that that was a significant and pivotal moment, if not for me as well. So we grew up together. I call it that we grew up together. So when you hear Carmen, what I identify myself as someone who came from maybe some adverse situations and had to make some decisions to better herself. And I took that opportunity, or that adversity, if you would call it, and that challenge, and I kind of reprogrammed myself and to say you can either be a victim or you can change the course of your own path. And for me, that was pivotal, and it was a lesson that I learned at a very young age. In terms of what I am and how that evolution has happened over years, I became interested in real estate in about 2004, and I became a practitioner. And
So you sold real estate for a living?
I sold real estate for a living in actually Suffolk County. Interesting enough, I went into a kind of a middle income range home area, marketplace I should say, and what I will say is that I found myself naturally, they say that just things tend to level off, and what is due to you or what you've earned and worked so hard will eventually come to you. I believe that because I was working in a middle class income, non-Hispanic neighborhood. Yet I found myself somehow gravitating to first-time homebuyers.
Okay.
And because of my last name in my profile page on my website, naturally, the Latino community was calling me.
Reached out to you.
Yeah, they were calling me and saying, can you help us? Can you teach us on how to buy a home? And I just naturally gravitated towards the educational component of that, and I started doing home buyer seminars. I actually became a housing counselor for a non-for-profit with NeighborWorks.
Wow.
I took their training, and it was really kind of the passion that started saying, wait, there's more to real estate than just showing a property or selling a home, or it wasn't a transaction anymore. And it really clicked. I'm like, I have the opportunity to really empower people and do something for homeownership, which I would have absolutely never thought I had that power to do. So naturally, people started gravitating towards me, but I did. I sold real estate directly, and I loved every single minute of it, and I wouldn't change that for anything in the world.
Wow. And you mentioned about not wanting to become a statistic, and being a mother at 16 is no small feat. It is a life-changing event. But you most definitely have a tremendous trajectory in terms of your career and in terms of your involvement with NAHREP. Where did the connection with NAHREP begin?
That's my favorite story to share with you. I actually was a real estate agent, as I mentioned, in New York City, and I had received an email in 2004. And if you were to ask me where that email came from, I can tell you I really don't remember. But I did get the email, and it was inviting me to a meeting to learn about this organization called NAHREP, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. Back then, I went to the meeting, and Francis Martinez Myers was the actually vice chair for the organization.
At the time.
At the time. And Jamila Ajat, who was on the national board, went there and they pitched to a group of us just about the mission of NAHREP and what NAHREP was doing in the community, and just the great work and the empowerment that this organization was standing behind for the Latino community, for the Latino practitioners, which was a very different twist, right? And I just listened to their stories and their passion and their commitment, and for me, it was struck right home. It was like, I need to look into this a little bit more. I want to find out more about the organization. Fast forward a little bit, I became the president and founder of the New York chapter. And ever since then, I always say I drank the Kool-Aid or whatever you want to call it. But
the blue Kool-Aid.
The blue Kool-Aid.
Yes, most definitely.
But definitely, the nutritional Kool-Aid.
There you go.
But it was that passion that I saw in those two fine Latina leaders who, for me, spoke to my heart. And it was an opportunity for me to pay forward what I felt I had learned, starting from my journey at a young age, that it was an opportunity for me to be part of something bigger than my local market, something bigger than just my regular real estate transaction. It was really an opportunity to dream big, and it was just, I couldn't say no. I really couldn't say no, and I will forever be grateful for those two ladies for inspiring me to want to become part of the organization, but also for always being there and inspiring me to take on bigger roles of leadership and believing that I could continue to contribute not only at a local level, but I can also contribute at a national level.
And speaking of that, and speaking about the fact of not saying no, you had already proven yourself. You were already successful. You had already shown your oldest daughter that mom was not a statistic. So what kept you driving and taking on more responsibility and more challenges and moving up in the leadership ranks of NAHREP? I mean, what was that motivating force?
Well, the motivating force, like I said, I had to put my college degree on hold. I had gone to college for 2 years, and I did that actually as I was trying to be a single mom and coming home, working 2 jobs and trying to do homework while she was in bed, and it just became a little challenging. So what I felt that the best next thing to a formal education was for me to have what I call real life university. And that's what I did. I actually started reading a lot of books. I started really getting involved with different non-for-profit organizations in real estate. I really took on mentorship. For me, it was extremely important, starting from my broker, who really took me underneath their wings and said, you know, you look like you want to make this really work. You're passionate, you're committed. And I said, absolutely. Teach me everything you can. I believe that you're always a student in life. You never get to a position where you can't learn. And that was kind of my commitment, was to continue to better myself, self-improve in myself. And I started looking at real estate as a real opportunity to create wealth for my family, to create opportunity for just those around me, and even my mother, Jerry, because as a senior citizen, sometimes it's difficult to age in place. And because of my opportunity with home ownership, I actually provided a place for my mother, who still lives with me today, to age in place. So it has gone cross multi-generations. But that drive, it really was my children, continue to be my children, Jerry. You're a father.
Yes, I am.
Right?
Yes.
So you understand the drive.
Yes.
But also, I wanted to make sure, and I continue to want to make sure, that I am in a leadership role when decisions are being made, especially those that are affecting the housing industry, that I am in a position that I have the power to be at the table, that I can give the knowledge or the information that sometimes the organizations or even politically don't have, that grassroots approach. And for me, every single day I wake up and say, what else can I learn today? And that's my drive. It's the need and the want to always learn something new.
And speaking of learning something new, you've been through quite a journey. What has that taught you about Carmen Mercado? What has that taught you about yourself?
That has taught me that I am definitely driven. Absolutely a driven person, a personality. But at the same time, it also has taught me that I am capable of whatever I dream I'm capable of. And that is only accomplished by really making sure that you have the right people beside you, that they're next to you, that you're willing to humble yourself and know when you can learn from someone else. But at the same time, also know that if you earn space and if you've worked hard to achieve whatever it is you dream you could achieve, that you also have to feel very confident that you've earned your place. Make sure your voice is heard. And I learned not to be shy. I learned to speak my voice humbly, respectfully always, but needless, make sure that my voice is heard. And it's made me grow as a person. That's
fantastic. And speaking of your service and your volunteerism, why NAHREP? I mean, there are lots of organizations where you could have used your time and talent. Can you tell us a little bit about the member benefits? What excites you about NAHREP and the value it brings to the membership at large?
Well, Jerry, for me, NAHREP was more than just a national organization that was real estate professionals. It was more than that. It was the cultural connection. And you're right. I actually am a member of many other organizations, but I decided to devote my time and energy and focus with an organization that was really looking at the grassroots, that was looking at sustaining not only homeownership, but most importantly, which is part of our mission, to empower the real estate professionals that serve the minority community. See, Jerry, so many times the smaller industry leaders, the brokers, the local lenders, the local realtors, may not find that cultural connection to feel that they can make a difference, whether it's because of a language barrier, whether it's because of maybe opportunities that were just not presented to them in the past. NAHREP offered that opportunity. One of the things that really connected me with the organization was that I saw a unified voice in wanting to help each other succeed. Not only in business, but personally and professionally. And it was that growth and that really support system. And when we went there, you looked like me, you felt like me. I can speak my language. I can speak both my languages, right? Because I'm proud to say I'm bilingual, and I'm proud of both.
¿Hablas español?
Hablo español.
Muchas gracias.
Aprendí en Puerto Rico y tuve que aprender. Estudié en Puerto Rico varios años.
Gracias.
So that opportunity to be able to do just what we just did and be able to go back and forth in our language and feel comfortable and not uncomfortable about that was very unique to NAHREP. And I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. I love, there's great organizations out there, but if you're looking for a cultural connection, this is the place to be.
You know, and speaking of that, now you're at the helm. You are now the national chair of this grand organization. What tasks lay ahead for NAHREP? What are some of those milestones that you want to see achieved in the next upcoming year?
That's a heavy loaded question, but I'll go ahead and answer that. There's a lot. The road to recovery, you know as well as I do, we have a lot of challenges ahead of us. This crisis that we have gone through and continue to go through has really affected our Latino communities, the communities of color, and we have lost a lot of wealth. Not only Latino wealth, American wealth in homeownership. So when I look at the task, what do we need to do to be at a better place 2 years from now, 10 years from now, 50 years from now? I think that it's all about the education. See, I'm an advocate believer in education. Actually, my career has transitioned. I'm an education and diversity manager for Coldwell Banker. And one of the things I believe in wholeheartedly is the opportunity to educate other professionals to be the best that they can be. So the task ahead that we have is not only to educate our consumers, which we are big advocates of, but really to educate and help support our leaders locally, our chapter leaders, our members who are seeking, how can I do more? How can I be more? So I think the task that we have ahead of us is that empowerment, that leadership development. I think we need to continue to look and see how can we develop the future leaders within the Latino community that are going to be the voice, Jerry. We just came back from a couple of days of Hill visits, right? What an experience. I mean, that was an amazing experience. How many other Latino leaders and real estate professionals out there don't even know they can be part of something this large?
True.
So I think we have that task ahead of us, is to go ahead and say, how can we provide that leadership development? How can we continue to reach out to our chapter members and let people know, regardless of your challenges, personal or professional, we're here to support you. We are here to provide you growth and opportunities that you may have not had access to in the past. So for me, access to that knowledge and that empowerment and those leadership skills to be further developed are essential to not only NAHREP's mission, but truly to the future of the industry.
And I know that was painting with a broad brush, but in terms of short term, let's say between now, March, and March of 2012, when you pack your bags and come back here to DC, and you want to go home now after your chairmanship, what do you hope to have accomplished?
I hope to have accomplished a true leadership pathway.
Okay.
Very systematic, not where I know as a member what I need to do and how I can achieve these leadership skills that are now available through NAHREP. So I'm actually very committed to creating a systematic pathway for new successful leaders in our industry. I also hope to look back and to be able to say, similar to our 5-point plan, Jerry, that because we educated our members on how to make those political connections with the policymakers and lawmakers, that we actually were part of defining what the housing industry is going to look like. And I know that may sound like a broader scope, but Jerry, we have things that are really local right now and immediate, such as the down payment.
Right.
And we need to address that right now. And I hope to be able to say, because of our voice, because of the leadership role that I took with the great team of leaders that I have beside me, including yourself as my vice chair, by the way, that we made a difference. And if I can look back and say, because of that, sustainable homeownership was a goal in every transformation and everything that we're doing now, then I would say my job was done. Done for the year, but will always continue because I don't see this as a one-year term. I see this as a one-year term to have the role, but a lifetime commitment to the organization.
That's true. And in closing, I'd like to say or ask you, what would be Carmen Mercado's version of Success 101? What's the formula? What's the secret sauce? What would you tell our listeners that are looking and seeing, wow, if she did it, if she rose to those great heights, you know, how can I do it? What would that formula of success be for them?
Well, the first formula I would say is work hard.
Okay.
Right? There's just the first, just work hard. I think our parents told us to just work hard. I'll say a phrase that my mother tells me all the time. Dime con quién andas
Y te diré quién eres.
It's
Oh,
very
yes,
good, right? You heard
yes.
that? And I think that's true. Surround yourself by great thinkers. Don't be intimidated by someone who may know more than you. Be acceptance. Embrace that because that's the opportunity for you to grow. You want to be in a room and an environment that always challenges you to do better, that challenges you to want to learn more. So I think if I'm going to wrap and summarize things up, dream big, work hard, surround yourself by the right people, stay focused, and hold yourself accountable on a regular basis. Make sure that you're tracking your progress, set your goals, write your goals, and go back to them because life changes and you change and your circumstances change. So it's okay to have to take some curves on the road in order to come to the final outcome. But if you can stay clear focused and know, okay, maybe I had to made a little left turn here, but I'm going to make sure that I get back on track. But ultimately, don't lose focus of your goals. Dream big, Jerry. Really dream big.
You know what, Carmen, I just want to thank you for opening up to us today. We appreciate you so much. And we wish you the very, very best during your year as chair.
Thank you.
Hopefully this was something that you enjoyed. And now you've gotten to know Fireside Chat with the person. Now, not only is she a woman, she is a young woman that sits now in a very, very important position for the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. Our very own, true and tested Carmen Mercado.
Thank you, Jerry.
I'm Jerry Asensio, reporting from Washington, D.C. for NAHREP TV.